he comes back and he says, "Thank you. I did not realize it. I live in Scotland, and I was really thinking about going over and buying some. So it may be a good deal through the machine, and it may not."
Well, I can answer that. And for my money, the premiums are too high, that they charge. I think if you go to a dealer or a bank, you can probably get a better deal. So if you're in Scotland, go to one of the larger cities and find out where the coin bullion dealers are, and then you can compare prices. But I think that you're probably better off dealing locally.
Another gentleman comes in and he says, "Is there a lot of fraudulent gold sold around the world, Mr. Chapman?"
Not really. There are counterfeit gold coins, and there have been for centuries. Usually they're very, very well done, whether they're in ingots or in the form of coins. The problem is usually that they don't have as much gold as they say they have in them. Not a great deal less, but enough to make it counterfeit, and you're not getting your money's worth. And so they're out there, but any dealer who's been in business for any period of time can spot a counterfeit in a minute.
I have another IM from another German who comes in and says, Angela Merkel has asked the United States government to return gold to Germany they are holding in New York, but the government of the United States has yet to do so. It rather seems to be a staged call, and I read nothing about it in the German newspapers. Do you know anything about it there?
Well, what you have said is true, and the response by Larry Summers has been, we'll take care of that. And a couple of weeks ago, Mrs. Merkel was really miffed, and she was the one that brought the heat on the Federal Reserve because of the way they've been handling things. And the answer from the White House was, well, maybe we should stress test your banks. Now, it's sort of a contest going on between the German and the U.S. government, and I think it was all caused by lack of gold delivery. And one of the things that has never happened is that 60% of the collateralized debt obligations, which are bonds, made up of mortgages that were given AAA ratings when in fact they were triple B, which is the difference between a 10 and a 3. And during that process, 60% of what is now called toxic waste was sold to German institutions. And that's why the German government has had to fund some of the state as well as federal banks, because they would have gone out of business because they bought these instruments that were not what they said they were. And I think this is going to escalate. And the reason it's been kept out of the media is that I think that the United States government has either sold or leased the German gold and they can't replace it. It's only a guess, but that's what I suspect.
A real estate broker in Minnesota comes forth and he says that a property market recovery has been tipped after some flurry of positive reports, but house prices rising or dying out as they did in the 1990s slump. Will property recovery vanish in 2009 and 2010 as it did in 1992, just prior to Bill Clinton taking office?
The answer is yes, and this time the correction is going to be deeper than anyone, including myself, because I was the first one to make the call that the real estate market was going to collapse in the second half of 2005. And that's where the top was. And I told people to get out then because I saw what was coming. I mean, you couldn't continue to do what they were doing. And it came. And I think house prices are going to go down another 20%, and in some areas more, particularly in very expensive homes. And we won't see the end of the correction in real estate until 2012. So it's not going anywhere. In fact, most of these loans that are FHA approved now, which is about 25% of all loans now, and the big banks are pushing the heck out of these loans, they're back to doing the same thing. 100% financing, the $8,000 credit. They're supposed to put 3.5% down, and the government waives it. I mean, you're in real estate, you know that. And all those loans are going to collapse in a year and a half, or 2 years, and we're going to be back with another subprime crisis.
I've got somebody in Florida that comes in and says, your man is right on point. First-time buyer mortgaging in Florida is vanishing faster than I can find buyers. The scare that the interest rates are going up, but the interest rates aren't going up. It may go up a quarter, but within a week it's back down to where it was. There are no qualified buyers. The market here seems to inflict that it will go down another 50%. I'm already selling $500,000 homes for $285,000, and I'm having trouble finding buyers for those. Mr. Chapman, my question to you, is there any sanity in the banking industry out there?
Number one, I want to know where he lives in Florida. And number two, the answer is no. And the Federal Reserve is the one that caused all this by allowing the banks to lever themselves not $8 or $10 lent for everyone on deposit, but 40 to 60 times as much. The whole thing was turned into a casino. And I saw a guy there on television today on CNBC saying that what they were doing was beyond the Fed, because these were thrift institutions, and that is untrue. Now, did he come back to you on that?
Yeah, he did. It says she. She says, yeah, I'm a she, I'm not a he, and I live in Dade County, Florida.
Well, Dade County has got a long way to go down yet. If you were over on the Gulf side, I think they're in the process of bottoming out. And I've said that about a month ago. And they went up first, and they get hit first. Naples got quite a way to go. But in Charlotte County and Sarasota and those areas, I think they're reaching a bottom. But where you're at, no, you got another 20% to go, and maybe even more.
She comes back and she sends me crocodile tears as a cartoon.
Well, it's tough, you know. Just stay off of Alligator Alley. Incidentally, I used to live in Punta Gorda.
Oh my word! From Charlotte, North Carolina, credit cards are taking a beating. More consumers are defaulting on debts. It's now coming to Charlotte, North Carolina, and card issuers from that are based here in Charlotte are raising the rates and slapping on new fees as they reassess the risk. And this is provoking a major backlash from angry users, as well as possible new subscribers to a credit card. What do you feel, or how do you feel this is going to affect the credit card industry?
It's going to make them much, much smaller than they have been in the past. The business of people going out and putting everything on a credit card is over. One of the things that nobody talks about are the deadbeats. Now, the deadbeats are the people who pay their bill every month. And I see fees going to be assessed by by the lenders on these, what they call deadbeats. And I think you're going to see a lot of people who have 5 or 6 cards who pay them off every month. They're going to go to one card and get rid of all of them except that one card because they pay it off every month. And so the lender will eliminate a lot of those people. A lot of those people will eliminate cards themselves. And on the other end of the spectrum, we're looking at 10% failure, 12% failure rates right now. That's 30 days overdue. And we're looking at something like probably 25, 30%. The banks are going to take a heck of a whack on this one.